Leader of the opposition Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, Andrew Holness, has just issued a statement following demands by the ruling People's National Party, PNP, regarding the source of funds for the construction of his family home underway in Beverly Hills, St. Andrew. The statement reads as follows, quote, "As a public figure, I have a duty to ensure that my affairs meet legal and ethical standards, recognizing as well that we are now in an election campaign where there is a concerted effort by the PNP to distract from the plans that the Jamaica Labour Party has put forward in our 10-point plan for the benefit and prosperity of the people of Jamaica. Upon becoming a minister and also having regard to the fact that I had a young family, I took legal and accounting advice as to how I should structure my personal affairs. Consequent on that advice, I incorporated an international business company in St. Lucia. This course of action is common practice, particularly for estate planning purposes. The name of the company, ADMAT, is a combination of the names of my two sons, Adam and Matthew. I am the sole director of the company, and the company has 3 shareholders, being my sons and myself. The company was registered in 2008 and declared to the Integrity Commission that year. Everything I own is in physically Jamaica. In late 2010, I started negotiations to purchase a piece of land to construct my family home. In January 2011, I made the first of 4 payments on the land. Payments were completed in August 2011. The title was transferred in July 2011. At the time of the signing, I did not write any statement saying signed while on a visit to Jamaica. Funds from my accounts at JMMB and stocks and securities were used to finance the purchase of the property. In September 2012, we began preparation of the site for construction, which involved excavation of boundaries and fragmentation of rocks. The resulting stones from this process were used to construct retaining facing and boundary walls. This initial phase was financed from my savings, salary and suppliers credit of approximately Jamaica $3.8 million. This initial phase cost approximately 8.6 million Jamaican dollars. The second phase was the actual erection of the structure. This happened during 2013 at a cost of approximately $35 million, which was financed by a Jamaica $10 million home improvement loan from Scotiabank, a Jamaica $3 million mortgage from Jamaica National and Suppliers Credit of approximately $15.6 million. My wife, being a real estate developer, has established credit lines for the supply of construction and building material and equipment rental. The supplier's credit came from this source. In 2014, we completed all major construction and in that year spent approximately Jamaica $9 million financed by salary, savings and suppliers credit. In 2015, there was no significant construction activity as the project was substantially complete. Today, the total cost of land preparation, construction and landscaping is approximately Jamaica $52 million, spent over a period of 4 years, financed by savings, salary, bank loans and suppliers credit. Currently, I am servicing debt repayments to banks and suppliers. All of this has been declared in my annual integrity reports, which have been filed within the statutory time frame. My report for the year 2015 will be filed by March 31, 2016, as required by law. So in the interest of transparency and integrity in public life, I have disclosed an unprecedented amount of personal financial affairs. Furthermore, our government will be committed to transparency. In the coming days, we will be publishing the Jamaica Labour Party's plan to address corruption. I have now met the demands of the People's National Party. I look forward to debating Mrs. Simpson-Miller. Meanwhile, the opposition leader also has questions for the PNP's campaign director and finance minister, Dr. Peter Phillips, who posed questions related to his house for him to answer on Friday. Mr. Holness says, quote, "For the sake of completeness and transparency, we too have questions to ask Dr. Phillips and the PNP. Firstly, Dr. Phillips, as a parliamentarian earning practically the same salary as the leader of the opposition, how did you afford the house you presently live in, which is valued at multiple times your salary? 2. Were you a part of the cabinet of Jamaica which created FinSAC and which took away the property of many hard-working Jamaicans and disseminated the entrepreneurial class? 3. If the answer to question 2 is yes, did you acquire any of the properties taken over by FinSAC or benefit in any way whatsoever? 4. Did members of the cabinet that created FinSAC acquired properties taken over by FinSAC? 5. Does the answer to question 2, 3, and 4 explain your unwillingness to complete and release the FinSAC report? 6. Do you own or have a beneficial interest in a house in Beverly Hills? 7. Are there members of the cabinet who have offshore companies? 8. Will you declare any assets you have overseas? 9. Will the officers of the PNP, including yourself, testify and come clean about Trafigura? The above questions are pertinent to the electorate, particularly those relating to FinSAC. Those who lost their properties due to government policies have a right to know if their ministers of government benefited from their loss." End quote. In other political news from Jamaica, the ruling People's National Party, PNP, is yet to confirm their participation in the national political debates. The PNP has raised serious integrity questions surrounding Mr. Holness's Beverly Hills home in St. Andrew. They are also demanding that Mr. Holness apologizes to Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller for alleged defamatory comments he made. The party says when those issues are addressed, then they will consider the debates. More from Leslie Ann Sherwood.
I'd mention also the what I would call the personal vitriol in the description of the Prime Minister as, quote, Jamaica's biggest con artist. If he has particular facts that he wants to adduce, where he wants to question in any respect the conduct of the Prime Minister of Jamaica, he needs to bring those facts to the table. But to engage in abuse, personalist abuse, and it's not the first time, is not appropriate for the political process.
That's a sentiment that has the People's National Party, PNP, fuming. PNP campaign director Dr. Peter Phillips wants opposition leader Andrew Holness to apologize for his alleged derogatory remarks directed at PNP leader and Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller before the PNP engages the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, in national political debates. Dr. Phillips has also placed on the table a number of questions about the financing of Mr. Holness's Beverly Hills house in St. Andrew. Dr. Phillips contends that there are serious integrity questions relating to how Mr. Holness came by his property. At a press conference on Friday, Dr. Phillips demanded that Mr. Holness declare his assets to the Integrity Commission no later than 7 days before the February 25 general polls. Dr. Phillips wants Mr. Holness to tell the Jamaican people whether he bought the land on which his home is being built for US $300,000 in 2011, and whether the land was purchased through a St. Lucian firm of which the JLP leader is a director. The PNP campaign director also wants Mr. Holness to indicate the source of funds used to purchase the property, and whether the cost of building his Beverly Hills house was included in any integrity report submitted annually to Parliament.
Given that there has been no response, we feel compelled to seek the particular avenue that we have chosen to compel a response from the leader of the opposition. We raised issues earlier regarding the issue of the construction of a house by the leader of the opposition. The leader of the opposition indicated that he would make his financial data available in March. We consider that elections having been called, it would be appropriate that these issues be addressed beforehand, and that they are important matters to be addressed. And indeed, it is incumbent on the People's National Party as a major political party in the country to seek these answers on behalf of the country. March would be too late, and we think that it is of utmost importance that the country be provided with these answers, and once these answers are provided, all other things being equal, we are prepared to have such debates as may be necessary.
Meanwhile, since Friday's press conference, documents outlining the purchase price of Mr. Holness's house was purportedly leaked to the media. According to the documents, the property was purchased by a St. Lucian-based company called ADMAT Incorporated in 2011 when Holness was the Minister of Education. ADMAT Incorporated is registered at 10 Manuel Street, Castries, St. Lucia. The registered instrument reportedly bears the signature of Holness in his capacity as a director. However, it is unclear if he remains as a director at this time. According to a copy of the transfer document from the Registry of the Titles Office, Holness signed as a director of ADMAT to purchase a piece of land in Beverly Hills, St. Andrew in March 2011. Speaking at Friday's PNP election press conference, Dr. Phillips was quizzed on whether or not he would use his office to legitimately gain answers to the questions he has put forward.
Appropriate person to answer these questions is the leader of the opposition. As a general rule, we think it is not appropriate simply to put facts which have not been proven necessarily out there, because we believe that we have to find a balance between people's personal rights to privacy and their interest in public service. But whereas we said there is this specific statutory responsibility which is placed on the leader of the opposition and the Prime Minister, and where the logic behind that placement was that the integrity of those persons was assumed to be unquestioned, we think that we have a right to invite the leader of the opposition to answer to those questions, and it's up to him to exercise it or not.
I'm Leslie Sherwood for CEEN Caribbean News.
Thanks, Leslie. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, has scoffed at the PNP's reasons for staying away from the debates. Deputy General Secretary of the JLP, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, argues that the PNP is shying away from the debates because the party has failed to communicate its goals and visions for the country.
First of all, let me state that the PNP's position as to why they are not willing to debate is something that they have cooked up to shy away from the debate. They are looking for an excuse not to face the people because of the lack of policy coming from them and their campaign. If you look at the PNP's campaign, it's all about fluff. There's no policy statement or policy direction. No, the Jamaica Labour Party stated from the outset that we are ready and willing to debate. Even if it is only the Jamaica Labour Party that will be on stage, we are willing to debate and put out to the people of Jamaica our policies as it relates to where we want to take the people and this country when we become government on February 25th.
Dr. Wheatley says Dr. Phillips is using Mr. Holness's house as a distraction. He says all members of the JLP will abide by the rules and submit their financial records at the end of March.
It is red herring on the part of the PNP. The PNP is trying to create a distraction from the real issues. One, that they are not capable or willing to face the people in a debate. Two, that they do not have any real policies or real direction to give to the people of this country. And three, every politician, every elected member of parliament must make a report to the Integrity Commission by the latest 31st of March of the preceding year for the year before, right? So every one of us must make a declaration And so it is rubbish on the part of the PNP. In fact, they talk about the Mr. Owens having an account, a company overseas. The question should be asked, how many PNP cabinet members or even members of the People's National Party who are members of Parliament have a company outside, a holding company outside of Jamaica, even in St. Lucia? And so it is it's only a form of distraction on the part of Peter Phillips. Peter Phillips, it is sad that an educated man like Peter Phillips is to such a level in the gutter trying to hold on to power that is gradually slipping out of his hands.
And Dr. Wheatley says the party is confident that they will emerge victorious come February 25.
Feel the pulse of the people that on the 25th of February that they're going to speak and they're going to speak very clearly and very loudly and remove this wicked government from us. The PNP government will be a thing of the past come February 25th.
Meanwhile, in defending his party's stance on the political debates, the PNP's campaign director, Dr. Peter Phillips, says his party is not fussy about the U.S. style of debate.
We indicated that in relation to the meetings that our representatives attended at the thing. But quite frankly, it's not a fundamental issue arising in this regard. It is an issue that we preferred that format. You know, let me, if I may. Even you mentioned the U.S. format. I think we have to be careful about not becoming fixated on a notion that the only test of the health of a democracy is a contest, quote unquote, on one evening over in a 5-year period that would tell us all we need to know. Speaking personally, when I look at what has transpired in the United States in those debates, I don't find much illumination. In fact, quite frankly, I find more obfuscation and confusion and license to abuse being evident rather than any elucidation of ideas. So I don't think we should measure the health of the democracy around either a particular format or a particular debate agenda.
Meanwhile, the ruling People's National Party, PNP, will launch their party's manifesto on Tuesday at midday at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston. And be sure to know that CEEN Caribbean News will continue our election coverage.